and Tangents Radio. Give us your name and the phone number. I mean,
What up,
give
man?
us your
It's
name and your
Keith, man.
location.
I'm listening, and I gotta ask. So, are y'all saying that the Raiders should keep Marshawn Lynch, or should it? Just so I can understand what I'm about to argue about.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you mine, and you can just kill Pete. They should keep him, but deep down, Gruden has done veterans really dirty, especially on offense. So he'll probably he's setting it up, saying, "Oh, I love you. I'm gonna give you a hug real close," but then he whispers in your ear, "You know, I'm gonna murk your ass, right?"
But
Like he's doing one of those.
What should they keep him for?
He's the who else are you gonna have at production wise at running back besides Marshawn Lynch?
Get a new running back. There's a draft
He's
pick.
from Oakland. They will burn down that stadium with
Man.
everyone in it. In East Oakland, in his hometown, oh no, it's a drive-by every game.
My whole thing is, if you can get someone in the draft,
Get rid of Crabtree, honestly.
you get them in the draft, and you let Lynch.
Yeah.
You let Lynch be the Tyrone Wheatley. You give him the ball at the goal line.
Don't
and,
disrespect Marshawn Lynch by calling him Tyrone Wheatley.
I mean,
I
he
love Marshawn Lynch, but I'm looking at it from look. They're going to Vegas. I doubt he's going to go there.
Yeah, his last year, his last contract.
Yeah, I mean, he's done, man. Let him go back to retirement. I love Marshawn Lynch. He doesn't need to come back and ruin his name with a team that's not going to win anything. Just go ahead and just just bounce out, man. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fair point, but I mean, I think they should really cut Crabtree and just trade for Aqib Talib, just finesse that situation, but definitely keep Marshawn.
all right, man.
You ain't got nobody else at running back.
All right.
All right, man. Thanks for the
right.
call.
Nope.
You just hanging up on people prematurely? Like, damn.
Yeah, man. This is radio. Time is precious. Seconds are precious. What? You don't got content to say? Because I know you do. I know you got a whole notebook full in that backpack and a laptop. So step your game up and stop relying on the audience.
Okay, really?
Boo.
I literally heard crickets when you said that.
Nah, man. It's just because I'm fired up. I'm trying to have the best show ever today. I told you that today.
You're trying too hard, bro. You're trying too hard.
And you don't try hard enough. But that's another argument we have off there every single day.
Okay. That's not
All
at
right.
all.
So Bruce Irvin, he's out here
Took 3 buses to
recruiting.
get here. No.
He's recruiting
We're cruising. Okay, go ahead.
Muhammad Wilkerson.
Mo Wilkerson is his handle on social media. Bruce Irvin said, "Hey man, y'all gotta somebody give me his Instagram. I found it.
What?
Mo Wilkerson on Instagram and Twitter. Bruce Irvin needs to get at him
Baby
because
Reggie.
they got to build around Khalil Mack, and they're clearly not gonna do it in the draft. And this is probably their only shot to get better. Is to keep Navarro Bowman." Paul Gunther, their defensive coordinator, said that you have no linebackers outside of Bowman. You're not going to switch to a 3-4. Irvin is just a pass rush specialist and a good guy to have around, but you need an actual middle linebacker.
So Wilkerson, do you want him on the Raiders or not?
Yes, to play defensive tackle.
And get upfield
draft a
as a
defensive
3
end.
technique on rush down
3 technique.
and one technique on passing down.
Yep, and then Vanderdoes is eventually going to take over for Justin Ellis anyway, so that's 2 jelly bellies.
Oh, sorry.
You don't like UCLA defensive tackles?
Not ones with no knees.
Neither do I.
Okay.
By the way, you just took shots at like several people.
Well-
Several UCLA D tackles. I just realized it.
well,
Oh man,
speaking of
people are gonna call
Raiders
me after
edge
the show
players,
and be mad at me.
Khalil Mack, there's an extension on the table.
Yeah, because they know, and I would be like, "Who you gonna build around me?" Because I'm not Like I could leave and go somewhere else.
Listen, man, I just got to say this about that. The Raiders talk a huge game about, like, building to the draft.
But they haven't. I have a notebook.
But besides that, the point is they're paying people when they deserve it. They extended Gabe before they needed to, Gabe Jackson. They extended Derek Carr. Now they're working on Khalil Mack. And if Amari has a breakout year this year, he's going to get the same treatment. That's the kind of culture you want to build, showing your young developmental prospects. If you perform, your second contract is going to be fair, it's going to be lucrative, and it's going to be timely.
Yeah, but you also have to draft the right people, and the Raiders haven't done that. Mario Edwards, I just saw a video of him on Instagram doing a full backflip. I'm like, we're gonna see a press release in like 3 weeks saying he tore like a metatarsal in his foot or some shit. I'm calling. Like,
You're wrong.
Oh, okay, you can do a backflip, but you can't get any sacks and produce on the field. Thanks. I'm glad you can do a full backflip because you're that athletic. You were like the number one player in high school when you came out and went to Florida State. Congratulations, but what have you done since then? Nothing.
All right, KB. So go ahead. It's your time to take the show. Here we go.
I'm annoyed.
Listen up as Kenny gives you the college football story of the week.
Really only two things in particular. One of the first is USC five-star wide receiver Joseph Lewis, I think the fourth. His felony, essentially battery charge, was dismissed. So he won't be facing that charge. Had he been convicted of that, essentially, he would have been facing 4 years in jail or a fine of I think $4,000. But now he's still not out of the woods yet because he still has a lesser charge of a battery, essentially, he has to deal with. Even if he beats the charge, the problem is USC's Title IX restrictions and rules are very zero tolerance when it comes to situations of domestic violence, no matter how minor, even if it's a misdemeanor or something like that. I think Matt Burmeister, I think that's how you say his last name, the legendary kicker who won the Rose Bowl for them when they beat Penn State. Him and his girl were just play fighting, and the cops called on them, and his USC college career essentially ruined. His girlfriend had even wrote a letter to USC saying he shouldn't be expelled. He's never been violent towards me at all, this, that, and the third. And they still expelled him. I think they eventually brought him back, but they didn't let him continue his football career, which essentially ruined any chance he had at the NFL. And the worry for this guy who's a young man, I think maybe 19, going to a sophomore year, one of the top receivers in the nation, whole life ahead of him, has this unfortunate situation. The victim in question had bite marks and bruises, as far as some of the reports say. Hopefully the situation works out for him best way possible, but he's still not out of the woods yet, because if he does get pinched on the second charge, he would face a year in jail or have to pay some type of a fine. There's also there's more backlash from the whole NCAA situation. You want to go into this? Because I don't have to say it. Jerk.
I'm just waiting for you to give us some actual, blasphemy or take or, something original.
Domestic violence is not something I joke about. Unless I'm talking about beating up a family member, then it's fair game because you shouldn't have been talking shit. That's pretty much the latest news right now. I totally have a story somewhere. I can't find it, but I will get back to it. So just
typical. Kenny's not prepared. But
I am prepared.
Whatever.
Whoa.
Whatever.
You know what? Get sick of your shit, Pete.
All right. Well, this is the Touchdowns and Tangents show. We're live on the Good News radio station. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the lines officially, even though we got a couple of calls in there. So, man, if you're excited about the NFL Combine, you can go ahead and give us a call about that. If there's some players you want to see, there's some questions you have about the Combine, we'll clear them up. But for our, Good News radio station listeners who don't know exactly what the Combine is and why it's important.
It's slave auction.
Oh, all right.
Call in.
You're live on Touchdowns and Tangents radio show. Give us your name and where you're from.
Hey, this is Andrew from Boston.
Hey, what's good, Andrew?
Andrew Martinez, wow.
For those of you who don't know, this is one of our guys. He's in the group chat with us. He's our moderator. He is the dude who keeps us from not being friends. So shout out to him.
Yeah, he holds it together. He holds it down.
Appreciate the intro. Yeah, I can't believe I'm finally calling in.
I know, man. It's 11 out there, man.
And you're in Boston.
Yeah. But I had to call in with the take because I heard you guys didn't talk about how John Gruden. Did you hear him at the press conference talking about Obi and Conley?
Yeah, man. He's not wrong. They both got to play and step up.
I know, but what I mean is, did you hear his tone? I don't know. You guys were talking about Reggie earlier. Maybe I didn't catch it all, but I think just from that answer, Reggie's gone like in a year. Just the way he was talking about Obi and Conley, I feel like Gruden doesn't respect any of these picks.
I mean, should he?
Because arguably,
Have they played?
Reggie's whiffed on he's whiffed on almost every corner.
Do you respect them? You're a Raiders fan.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, Conley, maybe not, but Obi, I trust. I trust Obi. Conley, you got to see more, but I mean, I don't know. It's concerning already.
What position do you
I still
think?
trust Reggie.
What position do you think Obi's gonna play? Free or strong? Since they're pretty much moving Joseph everywhere.
Well,
I think he's gonna have to play linebacker.
linebacker.
I think he's gonna have to play linebacker. To be honest.
Wearing number 20.
All right, Drew. Thanks for the call, man. Get some sleep. Appreciate the listen.
Will do. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Always good to get some fan love, some friends in here, man. That's a good friend of the show, man. One of our mentors, one of our people, really came up with us. Shout out to him making his own wave in Boston.
He's a part of that conglomerate.
Point is, I mean, you got to take on Reggie, so go ahead, finish your take.
I mean, do I need to whip out the notebook and start naming off years and draft picks and people he's whiffed on?
Yeah, man. Well,
bottom line is Reggie is not long for this organization. I think we all know it. He laid the blueprint. He's laid the foundation, but now they're gonna want one of their guys.
I think you're missing a point.
He got 2
and
years.
I think this is what Drew is trying to say: is who the F is John Gruden, other than the dude who
got a 10-year, $100 million contract.
Exactly. But he's
cool with Mark Davis.
But he's got to put up. So before you can come in and basically outs the dude who I don't know, took us out of the dark age, situated our cap, and actually made us respectable, you got to win. So before John Gruden can get anyone else in there,
I agree.
And you're also forgetting the fact that they both came up in Green Bay together. And
what that mean?
The story that Reggie also wanted John Gruden a long time ago when he signed on. That's who they wanted as well.
And man, things change. And all I know is Gruden's contract is longer than McKenzie's. So I'm going to go with the head coach that you gave a 10-year contract to over the guy who's ushering you into the Vegas era. And if it doesn't work after a while and these defensive back picks don't hit, his time's he really has to nail this draft or it's looking kind of light for Reggie. I hate to say it.
He's just a true scout, and I think you see that with kind of the late
He's
prospects
a financial wizard, first off.
That, and he has a way of finding undrafted guys. It's just those middle rounds where you really want to get developmental starters,
Jahad
solid
Ward
guys.
was a terrible pick, and everyone knew it.
All right, so Kenny, back on topic.
Oh,
the combine.
Speaking of the combine, and speaking of, I remember my college take, and this one's kind of funny. Jalen Ramsey, resident troll of anything that you just want to troll, pretty much went at Jimbo Fisher, his former head coach at Florida State, who's now at Texas A&M, and he got at Tim Brewster, who used to be Minnesota's head coach and is now, I think, the tight ends coach for Texas A&M. Pretty much was a tweet saying, Jalen Ramsey said, look, man, don't use my name to recruit players at a school I don't go to for a coach that never actually coached me. And they had beef Jalen Ramsey's freshman year when he was at Florida State. He got kicked out of a practice. He got suspended. But Jimbo Fisher never actually coached defensive backs at Florida State. Therefore, Jalen Ramsey, who was an All-Pro this year, felt the need to come out and say that. But like, hey, homie, you have no rights to even try to use my name because there's literally like a flyer of a bunch of Florida State defensive backs, like P.J. Williams, Marcus Joyner, a handful of cats who are all like made to the NFL getting paid. And Jalen Ramsey pretty much just called it out on Twitter. It was like, yo, don't ever use my name like that, period. So when it comes to the combine and all this stuff, you see these guys being interviewed and they're talking about, you know, being a good team player, being someone that loves football. It's interesting to find out how many of them really don't like their coaches. Like just in general, they don't mess with him. Even after he didn't have to say anything, but he chose to. I think
Damn,
it's kinda funny.
KB taking people to school, man. Finally, I knew there was a point somewhere in there.
You know what?